Heyo people, welcome to my podcast Life Adventures Taught Me. In today's episode we're gonna talk about spirituality. The name of the episode is One Step Towards Spirituality, and the reason why I chose this topic is because I want to slowly bring my podcast closer to spirituality in general. I would say that in last, especially 2 years, I became a lot more spiritual because of some experiences I had in previous years. And I feel like I'm gonna go in my future life, the next years, I'm gonna more develop myself towards there. First of all, what does it mean spirituality? To many people it might mean a different thing and like different term, and many people would describe it differently. Spirituality, what is spirituality for me? How would I define it? Spirituality is a broad concept, often related with searching for meaning and some deeper connection beyond of material, physical kind of life. It's like really broad expression and term and concept in general. As I mentioned before, I just want to point out what ways am I developing myself and which direction I am going with spirituality and where I would like to develop myself more in this kind of direction. I started to foster more spiritual growth, mindfulness, gratitude, and spending time in the nature. I think the last one is the one that I have realized that I enjoy the most. I just like spending time in the nature, and it's like a natural habitat for us. I think in the modern life that we encounter ourselves now, we are so separated from the nature, especially I would say people who live in the cities, who have their like everyday jobs, working 8 hours. They don't really have time to get out of the city in general and spend time in the nature every day. Now myself, as I live more in a village, I would say that I have that opportunity to spend much more time. Here are pros and cons. I don't have like too many opportunities to do here, but looking towards spirituality, maybe spending time in the nature, it is more available for myself because I'm surrounded by nature. And definitely in my future, I think I'm gonna live in a countryside because I just feel more natural, like less stressed and just more peaceful. So these are the directions that I mentioned, that I want to develop myself spiritually more. I mentioned spiritual growth, mindfulness. I started noticing more about myself, like especially when I'm more in peace. Then I realized many things about me, and there are many things that I would like to develop or maybe just be better in it, and better understanding of myself, and that way bring to my own self better quality of life. The third thing I mentioned was more gratitude. Gratitude because I want to foster these kind of thoughts, because I think when I bring the thoughts of gratitude, oh, I'm really grateful for this morning to wake up. I'm really grateful to wake up in my own house, like that I'm healthy, that I can do this trip, that I have this job, that I have this possibility, that I have these people around me. So every day we can find many reasons to be grateful for, and in that way, if we foster this kind of mindset with a lot of gratitude, we will constantly remind ourselves of good things that we have. We have this opposite mindset than to be grateful, to remind ourselves about good things and positive things that will cheer up our mood. We have the mindset of thinking what we don't have. In general, I just want to point out that when I'm alone, and I have noticed like the majority of us, when we have free time, when we finish all our tasks, our brain is programmed to come back with negative things, negative thoughts, and then we either dig about some bad things that happened in our past and we remind ourselves about that, we think about it, we constantly remind ourselves about what we don't have, something bad that happened in the past. These negative thoughts come really easy to our mind. So that's what I'm doing right now, and it's good that I'm doing the podcast at the same time, because I will talk about all the changes that I have throughout this period, and I will talk about all the impacts, and I can give all the tips how it was going. It's not that I'm talking like in the past, like something that I overcame. This is something that I'm dealing with now. In a present moment, I can share all my tips, all my thoughts, all my feelings, everything that I feel now, and everything that I learned from basically in the same period. So yes, that's my aim. Like now I am reprogramming myself, like I'm still in a transition period. I decided to make a big change in my life, and I think it's necessary. If I didn't do it now, then later on I would still need to do it. I mentioned mindfulness, and this is something that I'm focusing on. I'm tracking my thoughts, and I'm tracking where my thoughts are leading me. So speaking of mindfulness, it plays a really big role in the now modern type of life, modern life and modern society. I use it as a getaway to spiritual awareness, where I practice myself to be more present in this current moment, to go through life like easier. But being present, what does it mean? It means being here, being now, in this place, at this time, at this moment, being aware of where you are. For example, today I went to buy oranges, and on my way to the shop I was like, okay, I need to buy oranges, I repeat this thought all the time in my head, and I'm going kind of in a hurry. And then immediately I like kind of cut like the fast walk and those thoughts, and I just go slower, because I don't need to be in hurry like in order to do something. I had a habit of wanting to do many things during one day, and I want to use my day the best way I can and do as many things as I can do, and sometimes I overwhelm myself and I overbook myself, and then I get like really drained out and many times stressed. So this is a perfect example of what does it mean being in the present moment. It means that you are aware more of your surrounding and more enjoy it, because in the moments that I'm like going to the shop to buy oranges, and I'm like kind of walking fast and thinking about a million different things, that's a proof that I am not being where I am at that moment. So I'm thinking about a million other things, but I'm not enjoying this walk and things around me. I think it's really important to use these little walks, for example, to the shop, use them as a pause on everything, and being present can impact on our spiritual and mental well-being. Just from this example that I mentioned, when you are being present, you can more enjoy the present moment and you can feel better. I felt better when I have realized that I'm walking too much in hurry, too fast, and that I'm bringing thoughts to my brain that I don't need to have in that moment. I felt so much better when I replaced them with just chill thoughts, thinking about good things and just being in the moment, noticing the nature around me and just looking around me and noticing what are all the things that I like. When I'm being present in the moment, in the nature, for me it's just impossible not to feel good. Another thing that spirituality brought me is self-reflections. I reflected on myself on many ways. I was analyzing myself a lot, and I have realized that there are many things that I would like to work on. And those are the things that I couldn't really notice before, because I think they also come with years. I understand better when they say that different things come with the age. I would say that these years came to my mind more serious topics like spirituality, and actually starting to question many things around me and started to question many things about myself, like about my inner self. So I reflected on myself a lot, and together with self-reflection goes the self-acceptance too. Besides self-reflections, there is the inner growth. Inner work is a big part of spirituality. And there is a thing that I would like to point out about inner work, Because I would say for myself that since my childhood I was more positive person. I would say for myself that I was really cheerful, and the thoughts that I had when I was like 15 years old, I had more respect for other people in my surrounding. I was more polite and I was judging less, and I used to say many nice things to people around me. For example, when somebody buys something, for example, there is a friend who buys a watch, there is another friend who buys a necklace. If they ask, how do you like it? How do you like these things that I bought? To each one of them, I would look at the stuff that they bought. Even if I don't like what they bought, I will always find something nice that I see on it and I will point it out. Generally, I have noticed that a lot of people, they like to point out bad things. That's the energy, that's the frequency they are resonating with. But I have seen that people do it a lot. For example, there is a person who buys a thing and they say, oh, how do you like it? Or they just say, oh, I bought this stuff. And then it's kind of, with the culture, normal to answer like, oh, it's really nice, like it suits you good, I wish you good luck with that thing, I wish you to enjoy with it. But in our surrounding, there is so many people pointing out negative things. Oh yes, for example, I see the watch that you bought, it's a little bit too small, it's a little bit maybe too big, that color doesn't really suit you, or whatever they point out. It's as I mentioned, it's the energy they resonate with, and they will point out something negative. Okay, sometimes it's nice, to say things like, for example, if you don't like it, for someone else is good. But I would say in the examples, when they buy something and if I see them happy about the things they bought, I'm not gonna point out the negative things, because what is the purpose of it? If I see already the person happy and satisfied with what they bought, I'm not gonna point out the negative things or negative thing that I see about it. Maybe I don't even see it. I always point out the good thing about it. I will not search for something I don't like. I will search for something that I like. And that's part of your mindset, because even in an example, when somebody asks you like, look what I bought, even when they ask you, what do you think about it? What are you gonna think first? That's how you are programmed. That's how is your mindset. So if you think about good thing, like, oh, I like it, I like the color, it suits you, your mindset is more positive. But if you immediately say something negative and you want to say it and you say it to that person, you don't hold it for yourself. If you say it immediately with not really caring how other person will feel, or just like giving your opinion in the air, if it's you more negative and if you point more negative things than positive things, that's also kind of your mindset. That's how you are programmed. But changing my mindset to be more and more positive, because I truly believe it's possible. It's just like long work. You need to work a lot with yourself, and it's kind of a habit. You just need to make it your own habit. It's hard. I'm trying to do it more on a natural way, not to force myself, like to do it in order to have this mindset, but I'm taking the time. I'm still like many times not acting the way I want. It's hard to control myself in many things, but in general, I would say that I'm doing good work, because I notice my mindset, my mindfulness, and my thoughts, they are going towards much more positive person than negative. A lot of time when I spend with myself alone, I have noticed that first thing that occur to me are negative thoughts. So this is something that I'm changing, and it's really important because it's reprogramming, it's a transition period, and spirituality is helping me a lot in it, because I am analyzing many things about the world around me, about things about myself. This is where I notice these things, and this is where I can also replace those things and make my mindset and make quality of my life just better. The direction also where I'm going with spirituality now that I'm developing is also exploring about energy, vibes, and frequencies. My friends, they can say that I mentioned this a lot, especially in previous months. I mentioned I was all the time like energy, 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 frequencies, vibes, frequencies, and like they would see, to notice that I didn't use these things before. And for example, even 2 years ago, I didn't even know what is a frequency. I didn't even know it exists. So as I was reading, like everything in this world, even this shell over here, like even this stone, and even this brick, even this wall, whatever thing around us, this pen over there that you don't see, everything has its own frequency. So it's kind of like a signal that is sending. And for example, we have this pen on the floor, and it has its own frequency, let's say like frequency 67, and every certain amount of time, every certain amount of minutes, it's sending a signal. So let's say like every 3 seconds it sends the signal, and that's kind of the frequency. So I don't know why they don't show us in our school, like for example from physics, they never mention anywhere about frequencies. Everything around us is energy, and then I closely related it to religion. So what I'm trying to do now is that I'm trying to connect spirituality and develop myself more over there, and religion. For me, spirituality is just understanding the religion and the world around me from another angle, from another perspective, from my own way. And I'm just trying like to connect the spirituality and religion, learn from both, and to create my own mindset. And also one of the important things in my directions in spirituality that I'm doing now, setting my intentions and setting my aims and kind of developing my way of achieving them through spirituality. I think I'm gonna learn through it a lot. There's a lot of people now who are mocking spirituality, which is normal. It's kind of something that is modern, something that is in. But I don't think it's just in because of the fashion. It's because, I don't know, just a lot of people do it. I think it's because a lot of people are becoming more aware, and they realize more and more things. Then people have more and more questions about the world and about themselves. People want to learn, people want to hear more about it. So generally people are more curious about it. It's not something that it's only in or modern, it's also because people are more aware. And I would say I have become so much more aware last 2-3 years, and that I'm going like really with a rapid speed of developing myself in spirituality and in being aware of generally all the world around me, and generally about my life and myself. So this is where I would like to finish today's episode, and now I'm really happy that I took this direction, like I'm more going towards there, because this was something that I thought about 1 year ago, that I wanted to speak more about spirituality and develop more myself over there. And if I focus more on it and I speak more about it, then I'm gonna have it present more in my life, and then I'm gonna investigate more about it. So I'm happy that I'm going this direction now, and there is so much more that I need to learn, but this is something that I like to do, and I think it's gonna be a really interesting adventure. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, that it made you think more about spirituality, awareness, and make questions to yourself, that maybe you have also noticed some of your negative habits of your mindset, and that you would like to change some of those. So that would be all for today. For the new listeners, if you would like to hear more from this guy and his adventures of developing in spirituality in general, my life adventures that taught me, you can subscribe, you can add me on social media, and that's where I'm gonna share my videos, photos from my next life adventures. Ciao, ciao!